There we go. Got it. Beautiful. All right, here we are. So lovely to have everyone here with us. Yes, we've had a quick change of scenario here on Zoom. Thank you so much to the overwhelming response that you've all given to catching up with David and myself here tonight. So we're not going to really muck around. We've got actually a lot of amazing stuff to get through tonight. And so I'm just going to want to take everybody here through the housekeeping. If number one, we are recording this, as you can see. So the great thing is anybody who misses it or you want to come back and watch the replay at any point, please just reach out to us. You can reach out to our email or a website. So contact peterwilliamsinnerpower.com. And we can give you the link for the replay and you can access that if you need to. So that's the first one. So the whole thing is just so a few of you who are not familiar with it and you would have noticed the change. Of course, Dave and I, we just kind of said, like, let's do this. And oh my God, wouldn't this be amazing? And the whole thing is we want to kind of give you all a little bit of something and have some tools to practice with because as you all know, Dave and I can chat until literally the earth will end. And we will still be there chatting away
with the cockroaches, mate.
We'll just do it as well. So just on that as well, like if Dave is talking, so it's good. Hopefully most of you don't have a delay. I personally have a delay with David, so that's why I'll be probably a little bit slow in responding. So just that's why if there's a bit of a slow response, that's why you know what's happening there. So the great thing is we've had an awesome response from everyone. So that means we've had to switch from meeting mode to webinar mode. And what that means is that you are pretty much all in the chat. Okay, so there's no video camera, and I'll explain this in a second, but there is just the video chat. The beautiful thing about this is if any of you have any tech issues at any point with this, if you drop out for whatever reason, you just simply need to click the link and you'll jump back in and you'll be straight back into the chat where you are. So it's not like you're going to have to wait for us to allow you in, nothing like that. So it's a little bit of a different format. So it's a beautiful thing. So we're going to work that. Yeah. Tony Green Slato, thank God. I look like shit, laugh out loud. Yeah, well, it's a great thing. No makeup required. Don't worry, David's missing an arm off his glasses. He's got crooked glasses. He might as well become the Monopoly man, break him in half and have to have one. Start and do not pass go, do not collect $200. So, and it's just one of those things. So as we kind of go through this, so just to give you a quick rundown, the beautiful thing tonight is, and I am not even 100% sure, and Dave, you're going to have to clarify this one for me, but you are going to take us through the principles and actual exercise of psychometry, which is what you do with flowers. Now, correct. Have you ever really taught this online before?
Never, mate. First time tonight.
There you go. So I couldn't remember 100% still. And I think, yes, and it's like, I know that your energy's pumping and you're like, because you're like, I just got to get this right. Because I know that your mind's racing a million miles an hour with the energy already.
Oh, you can hear me.
Because my energy's just picked up, like tapping into yours. Yeah, I can hear it already, man. And it's really, so this is awesome, guys. And thank you for all turning up. And it's going to be great because I think this is like got to be like to date David's biggest flower reading class yet.
Absolutely, 100%.
So, how awesome! So it's going to be a lot of fun, and he's going to take you through that as well. Now, before we jump into that, so and after that, we're going to have a little bit more of a chat as well. And then after that, I'm going to take you through a really, really simple, relatively short visualization, really to get your energy bouncing, help to remove or release some blocks within yourself. And I'm actually, Spirit have really shown me that there may be a nice little surprise in that one for you as well. So it's just, this would be a chance, like, honestly, guys, be here, soak it up, ask the questions wherever you want, and we're going to have a whole heap of fun. Now, as the way that this is going to work, so the good thing is, because it's the webinar format, we have a little bit more functionality. So what's going to happen is we actually have the Q&A section. So just kind of get yourselves familiar with it, whether you're on your phone or whether you're on device. The Q&A there is there. This is going to help us so much, and especially for David's part of this little workshop. So the great thing is I'll manage this, and I think, David, you can also access that, if I'm correct.
Oh, yeah, but don't ask
section.
me.
He's got glasses on. Oh, too funny.
I moved back to Tassie, back to 1973.
Oh, this is gonna be. We don't know how much we're gonna get anyway. So hopefully, that's glasses, mate. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'll have to take them
Funny.
off. I can only pick the one
Anyway,
I need
so
to use because I'm all skew with.
okay, well, if that's the case, I can manage the Q&A as it comes through anyway. But so
Yep.
anyone, so what's going to happen, because it's great, you can use the chat for however you want. So the great thing is, so like, and Sid, I noticed you just said there you don't know how to navigate this. Don't stress. You can just use the chat if you need be. But what's going to happen is use the Q&A function. If you just look around, just remember, guys, you're not going to break this program.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
millions, if not billions, of people have used this program. You're not going to break it by pressing a button. You're not going to jump on video and kind of surprise us with your Jimmy Jams and, you know, the lack of makeup. That's not going to happen in this format. The whole thing is, and we're not going to be able to hear you. You're not going to magically unmute yourself or anything like that because it's a different form. Okay, so you're all good on that front. So don't think you're going to break it. So find the Q&A. Beautiful. Someone's just found the Q&As. This first one's come through. So Will, thanks, mate. You've got it there. And the great thing is I can see the direct question. The only reason we ask you to use this is because in the chat itself, we may miss it. Okay, because there's a lot of you. So please bear with us. If we miss it, we're not ignoring you. Okay, we just, like, we can only read so much. So if you really want to get it known, you can also just repeat the question. It depends on your device where you find the Q&A. Thank you, Kim. Love that. She's done the good old sound check of testicles, ovaries, and out. Just testing. So we know that one's there. And that's Kim there asking that question live. So done. Okay. And Julie Irvine, well done for finding it. Okay. So that's just that little bit there. If you find that, that's cool. Now, the other great thing too is if the other function, which is going to be handy, is the raise your hand function. So if you jump in and you go into the more, you might actually know it will be forgotten where it is. Yeah, a few people are doing that as well. Cool. Thank you for raising your hand there. Now, what's going to happen is we can bring some of you up on screen with us, and you can actually talk to both David and myself in real time. So we will probably use this, especially when David is doing his little class work here, because it'll just make it a little bit more interactive. And so if you've got questions or you've got things, and that's you can get on screen here, and David or myself, especially with the flowers, David will be able to help you, walk you through, you know, what's going on, or just little, maybe like, look at this way or whatever. So I'll leave that to him. I'm not gonna get into. I was like, what are you gonna say? I am psychic, but I don't really know. So I'm not a flower reader by trade. So I'll leave that to you. So you can use that if you want to come on. Of course, you do not need to come on if you don't want to. Okay, please I want to make that abundantly clear. We'll just make sure there's a couple of people, if they want to, it might make it a little bit more interesting. The other thing too is please get familiar with that. If we ask you to come on and you don't do it in a quick enough time, we're just going to get someone else or move on. Okay, we're just going to be mindful of the time. So again, it doesn't mean that we don't love you. It's just that we're being mindful of everyone here. All right. So I think that takes care of the housekeeping side of things. So we are all here. The great thing is, yay, we've got over the 200 people online. So
wow,
awesome.
Well done, guys.
Okay, so yeah, so well done. It's lovely to have you here. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat. We're going to jump straight into it. And so, Mr. Laws, it is all yours.
Thank you, Pete, and welcome everybody to this wonderful online flower reading training fun exercise that we're going to go through tonight, the first one that I've ever done. To give you a little bit of a background, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we want to have some fun and bring you guys into it, as you well know, but it's very important for me to provide you with a little bit of a backdrop about who I am and about how I got involved in flower reading and what is flower reading and how does it all work. Is it something that is just, you know, that I can tune into, or can everybody do this? To answer the question in the most appropriate way, I guess, from a psychic perspective and from an ability to be able to perceive, feel, and know things, it's something that dates back, I guess, to my childhood. I can't remember when, but I've always been able to feel, see, and know things to a degree, and I think most of us can. Now, I have no proof of this, but I actually had a major accident when I was, fairly major. When I was 6 years of age, I actually fell off the balcony where Mum and Dad had, where we all lived, and the house that they'd built, and I landed on the footpath down below. and I split my head open, and I think I had about 22 stitches down my head, in my head. And the doctors couldn't believe that I didn't fracture my skull. And when they went back to take the stitches out, they could only find 17. So I believe I'm still being held together by 6 stitches. But basically, what happened then, when I actually fell down, I later discovered that I had actually ruptured my crown chakra, which is your connection to universe. And ever since then, I've been able to feel, see, and know things, but I didn't really know how to steer this energy or this, this ability. I didn't even really know much about it, but I just used to feel this. To cut a long story short, I was fortunate to meet a lady when I was in my mid-20s, a lady by the name of Denise Galway, and Denise became my great mentor and teacher down in Sydney. And remember, guys, this was back in those beautiful days before the internet. We had no internet, no phones, no mobile phones. Everything was a world of books. And I was fortunate to meet this lady, and I can remember thinking, I've got to somehow develop this gift of mine. And back in those days, it used to be just holding somebody's hand. And I was like, can I hold your hand, please? I need to feel your energy. And I used to be able to perceive some messages, and things would just waffle out of my mouth. And half the time I thought, oh, it's a bit of garble. Didn't think much of it, and was like, it was a bit of a throwaway, bit of fun, bit of party fun, and not too serious. But over the course of time, people would come back to me and say, David, do you remember what you told me at the time you read my hand? This happened, and that's come true, and this is all. I said, oh, really? So even though I knew there was something in it, I had no guidance. I had no one to really help me. And that's what led me to Denise, because I was starting to do these little hand readings. And that's how Denise connected with me. She'd heard about me. Turns out that she was one of Sydney's finest trance mediums at the time. Denise has long since passed from this world. And anyway, we did a little flower reading. I won't fill you in with the whole story, it's too long. But in essence, she invited me to her house, and she said, I'd like to introduce you to the concept of flower reading, because your guides are telling me that one day you are going to read flowers for thousands of people. And of course, I fell off the chair. I thought, darling, who's your drug dealer? Because drug flower reading, are you kidding? And I said things like, plain or self-raising flower. I was really taking the mickey. She said, love. She was a real locker Aussie with a chain smoker. She said, love, I'm serious. I'm telling you, it's all about the flowers. And she said, flower reading is one of the oldest known psychic art forms known to mankind, which I've later discovered is what it is. And it's all based on the beautiful psychic art of psychometry. Now, most people, well, I won't say most, lots of people have heard of psychometry, but they're only familiar with it being like a piece of jewelry. And people can read jewelry, and they'll take somebody's jewelry, and that will elicit a whole heap of messages for them. And that translates into a message, for the recipient, like a reading. So it's a psychometry reading. But of course, flower reading is no different to a piece of jewelry. The thing is, I'll never forget the first time I ever read a flower at Denise's place. It was a little fun thing. She had a group of people there, and everyone had flowers in a bag with a little number on it. And she said, love, just pick up a flower and see what messages you get from this. And I thought, well, I can't connect to this. And of course, on the first night, I got absolutely nothing. And I thought, well, thanks very much. It was nice to meet you, love. She said, no. She said, I'll see you next week. I'd like to become your mentor, teacher, and guide if you are interested. Oh, so I jumped at the idea. I thought, wow. And she always held it on a Tuesday night. So I went back the following Tuesday night, and that was where my journey started, guys. And, it's very subtle the way this work works and the way that it worked for me. Little did I realize that was the beginning of my psychic apprenticeship. Even though I had no notions of becoming a professional psychic or a person who reads flowers for a full-time living. Are you kidding me? I mean, everyone would think I was on drugs. I mean, I've been reading flowers full-time. It's been my full-time profession now for 14 years. And I still cannot believe that it's led me down the path that it has. But in those early days of doing a few little flower readings here and there, I didn't even realize that I was practicing, and it was my apprenticeship. And I do a little party, like a little barbecue fun here or a fun reading for someone here or there, not realizing that it would lead me down the path that it did. So that's a little bit of a background on me and how I started. Now, what I would like to do is to walk you through the very elements of what can really help you tune into this, because here is the good news, my dear friends. I am no more gifted and talented than any single one of you. I have all the gifts and talents that you have in the psychic field, and you have the same as me. Now, the only difference between perhaps you and I, sure, I might have had a little bit of a knock on the head, which might have helped things along, but the thing that has helped me develop over the
I was going
years.
to say, do they need 22 stitches?
No, they don't. But I do carry a baseball bat down in the back of the car. If they want a bit of a head start, I'd give them a tap on the head. so come on, mate. Come on. You want to see? I'll take you on the fast start process. So we do fast start trading. We do fast start.
You want the gift quicker? All right, let's do
That's
this.
right. You want the gift quicker because, guys, I'm looking for franchisees. Come and join me. I need some franchisees working around the place. You can be the famous Flower Man's franchisees.
I can so see a baseball bat with pretty flowers on it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, yeah, they're pretty flowers, but bang, pop that. So here's the thing. Everyone is born with the pineal gland, and the pineal gland, of course, is commonly referred to as our third eye. And every human being has the gift of being able to perceive, feel, and know. It's the sixth sense, and it's very real. And if time permitted, I could trot you through a whole series of teachings about that, which is fascinating stuff. But here's the essence of it all. I want you to all to understand that, the brain is like a muscle. When we sit in a coffee shop and you see a muscle man walk past, or a very fit lady, you look at them and think, oh my God, I wish I looked like that, or I wish I, what have you. Well, you can if you spend as much time in the gym as that person. The brain is no different. If we spend enough time in an area of our brain developing it in a particular way, that's going to give you strength. And that's what's really going to sort of work for you. And I feel that when it comes to, aspects of that, it's something that it just becomes stronger and stronger with practice. Now, when it comes to readings, the thing that challenges people the most when they're starting out and think, oh, I wonder if a lot of people, Pete, say to me, David, I think I've got a gift. I think I can read, but how do I trust? And how do I know what's real? How do I know whether it's real? How do I know whether it's spirit? Blah, blah, blah. Well, honestly, the ego is not going to say, oh, hello, it's ego here. This is a message, and spirit's not going to come through and say, hi, it's a message from spirit. It doesn't work like that, as we know. What this is a journey of trusting and faithing what you get, no matter the response. Now, when it comes to developing your psychic abilities and gifts, my friend, here's a beautiful thing. For me personally, I believe I was trained myself in the most beautiful way, because one thing with psychometry, if you conduct a psychometry exercise with a group of people, around you, and it's a flower, for example, and everyone's got one in the middle, and you don't know who owns that, it is the most fantastic way for you to really connect to spirit. Because what that does is when you are reading blind, you have no idea who you're reading for, and you are purely focusing on what, or waiting to get a connection from spirit, it shuts off the ego, and it then brings you into a whole state of communion with our dear divine creator. And therefore, I channel with my eyes closed, so I'm not even looking at my little crowd when I'm doing my channeling, and I just go into an absolute zone. My mind, in the back of my mind, I might go, what's this? What am I waffling on about? But it's not me. That's the ego at the back. The ego has no control, my friends. When you work in this aspect of psychometry and not knowing who you're reading for, I've got to tell you, to me personally, just through my own experience, and Pete's the same on this, is that you move into such a sense of faith and trust that what you get, you might give somebody a message and say, well, I saw blah, 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 or whatever it was. And they might go, sorry, it didn't make any sense. Do you know where people go wrong? They go, oh, I'm really sorry. I stuffed that up. How? No. Stop. You didn't stuff anything up at all. No one is perfect and brings perfect messages through, but this is the journey that starts you on the journey of faith and trust. So learning to shut off from what you may know about somebody and what might be going on around you, or whether is it what I know about that person? It just shuts all that out. And then there might be a time and you'll pick a flower up and you might get nothing, or you might get a smidgen. And other times you'll pick up a bag and you'll get a whole torrent of information there. I often say to people, you know what, I just have to leave it with you. It may not make sense today, but I'll just leave it with you. Now, guys, I have lost count of the number of times over the umpteen years. It's nearly 40 years now that I've been conducting this work. and people come back to me. It can be weeks, months, even years later, and going, oh my God, David, the stuff that you told me with that flower reading on the night, it made no sense at all, but thank God I recorded it. I always say to people, well, I don't say to them, but I highly recommend that all of my people record, because when you record it, they've always got it to refer back to. And I can't tell you, I would have a million stories to tell you about experiences where people say, oh my God, that's mind blowing what came through. So that every now and again, even to this day, I might get a little a message from somebody who I bumped into, and it's just Spirit's way of saying, see, you trusted, and you trusted. When you trusted, you'll get the little feedback. See, you were on point. You were on point. So I'm at that point now. It's like, well, guys, here it is. I'm going to give it to you loud and clear, give it to you exactly as I see it, feel it, know it, and that's what this is. Now, on the next aspect of it, and we'll get into the work in a tick here, when you read a flower, which we're going to have a practice session very shortly with our dear mate Peter here, here's the main thing to remember, and I'll walk you through this when we're looking at Pete's flower. Somebody's chosen a flower that he's going to hold up. Now, it's not just what you might see. This is an opportunity for us to use our psychic inner senses of all the things that we see and touch and feel and smell, using all of those things there. So from that perspective, it's amazing what does come through in the whole collective, because when you get into the zone of channeling, you just get hit with so many different things. But remember, it's taken me, nearly 40 years of development, and I'm still learning, guys. I'll be learning until the day I take my last breath. This is not an art where you become the best or you are perfect. Nothing's perfect. No one's perfect. I'm far from perfect. And I playfully refer to myself as the psychic with P plates, because I've got P plates on. I believe I'll be on my full license in the year of 5050, according to Spirit. So I've got another couple of thousand years of development to go before I get my full license. So any questions, Pete, at this point?
Yeah, we've just got a couple just kind of leading into it. And it's obviously will be good to kind of lead into the practice, because obviously this guy's going to be a little bit different, because obviously for what you usually do, David, is that you would hold the flower. But of course, tonight, you guys aren't going to get to hold the flower. But this is actually not a bad thing either, and means it does mean they can still do it, doesn't it, Dave?
Absolutely, 100% correct. The reason I don't do flower readings online in a group is because it would take way too long to hold up the next flower and tune into it and what have you. That's something that you just can't replace, as far as when I'm in a group and you've got the energy of the flower, the bag, it goes off, as you well know. But from a teaching point of view, from somebody holding up a flower on screen, it's brilliant, because not that I've done this before, but I know I'll be able to explain the elements of the flower or the item. It may be a leaf, it might be a piece of foliage, it may be a flower, whatever it is. I'll be able to walk people through that. But whilst they're looking at an image on screen, it'll be fascinating to see what pops into people's minds, not just by what the flower looks like, but they may get a taste. They might get a smell or a touch and think, oh, I'm actually picking this up about something. Might not have anything to do with the flower. So there you are.
That's cool. So we just got a few questions just to quickly roll through. We'll get through these. I'm going to start with this one first, from Donna. Bonus. We're just answering this one now for you, Donna. Why flowers? Is it the earth connection? Very quickly.
Yes, it is, actually, because it's a good question, Donna. Thanks, sweetheart. The reason I chose, now, to be honest, as I said, you can read flowers, you can read jewelry. I was introduced to the concept of flowers. I love the concept of flowers myself because of the connection to nature. I love nature, and there's nothing more beautiful than being connected to nature. Because remember, guys, everything is a vibration. Even the flower that you choose, whatever it is that you choose, it's a living item. And there's also the Diva Essence Energies, and it's DEVA, not DIBA, as in take me to my trailer. It's not that kind of a diva.
Dave.
Oh, darling. I'm sick of this. No, it's not that kind of diva, guys. This is the Diva Essence Energies. And I'll tell you what, the divas would slap this diva if he got it wrong. So with Diva Essence Energy, which is DEVA, Diva Essence Energy is almost like the life force of every living thing on the planet, like with all of the beautiful flowers and plants and trees of nature. So it's the energy of that I connect with, and the connection that Spirit brings through for me. So it's all connected, and it's a permission thing. It's a really good point too, Donna, because I always refer to the flowers as my spark plugs. I pick up a bag and boom, away that it goes. And just on that note, energy is a fascinating thing. When I first started reading flowers, guys, I would pick the flower out of the bag. I would look at it. I'd hold it up to my third eye. I might get 2 or 3 or 4 words out, and that was about it.
Your face while you're explaining this, Dave.
Oh my God, I can't see because I haven't got my glasses on.
I can't wait. I'm going to screenshot that. I'm going to screenshot that and send that to you.
Anyway.
Oh, mate, no, it's... so yeah, but that's a good answer. I love that. So hopefully that answers your question there, Donna.
Okay. Now,
so this is Cat Elias.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. Cat is just answering the question, which is going to lead to the practice.
Yes.
Does Spirit bring certain types to? Oh, sorry. Does Spirit bring certain things to your attention on the flower, or is the message solely the flower?
No. Beautiful question. Thanks, darling. The flower is the spark plug. It's the conduit. And the reason I say that, which we'll get into later on, is the fact that that's the point that I was about to make then. In the early days, I'd pick the flower out, focus on it. It's got to the point now where as soon as I touch a bag and pick up a bag, people will get probably 90 to 95% of their messages before I even open up the bag and look at the flower inside, because I just need to touch the energy of the bag and I've got everything I need. All the information comes through. So in the early days, it was about reading the flower and the energy. But because I practice this so often, I mean, when you read flowers 5 nights a week, for so many years, it's inevitable that it's going to become quicker and faster and stronger. The same as you, Pete, with the beautiful work that you do. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
That's cool. It does. Just for the other questions that we can get to them, but we might save them till later because we're going to be mindful of staying on task here for the workshop. So don't, guys, if you have put questions in there, it doesn't mean we're not going to answer them. It's just we're going to try and keep it all energetically tied to what we're doing, so we're not getting lost. Because I love the questions. We could honestly answer questions all night, and we can do, but we're just going to work with here as well. Also with that too is like. Obviously, you're talking about psychometry there, Dave. One of the questions very quickly, probably the last one before we get cracking with the practice in the workshop here. It was could this work with other items such as crystals or leaves?
100%.
Or what else?
100%. Yeah, as I said, it can be inanimate. It can be a bracelet. It can be a ring. It can be a watch. It can be a rock. It can be a crystal. In fact, it can be anything. I mean, if people hold anything, it's going to be imbued with a degree of your energy and vibration on that. Now, in the sense of jewelry, if somebody has worn that piece of jewelry for a long time, well, it's going to really have that person's energy. And when people read rings and watches and personal items that somebody has been on their body, on their person, of course, they'll get fabulous messages, no different to the flowers. But it's just a personal thing for me. I've got a connection to nature through the flowers, and that's how it works. And as I will explain when we do the exercise, I'll explain the things to look for when, and how to interpret. That's a good word, interpretation.
Yeah, and this is a beautiful thing. So, and I just want to make a really kind of clear here, guys. This is where it's really helpful. Like David said before, and it goes for both of us. And I was actually doing a couple of recordings based on this because, beginning of next month, I'm actually going to be running Discover Mediumship workshop for the first time online, taking people to connect with spirit and learn to feel that connection themselves. But what's interesting too is with that is I was just talking about, and I was talking with the couple of guys, was there's so much you can learn on your own, but then sometimes it's just helpful to get some guidance on how to tweak it, how to make it a little better. So you can get from needing to do David's, I need to hold it to my third eye to connect to it, whatever it means. You can kind of do that. And so that's kind of like what David's going to be taking us through here. He's going to be giving all of us his wonderful wisdom and knowledge and his hints and tips just to help you guys just to get a feel for this. And that's if I just really want to point out, have some fun. right?
Yes.
It's just have some fun here, guys. Like it's just you're here to, and this mean you've got an amazing, amazing man and reader in front of you, and he has like I love the fact this is his jam, and it's such a beautiful modality, and you can kind of work with this. So we'll get into the questions in, but let's get into some practice here, Dave. So you walk us through. What do you want, and how you're seeing it? Because I know the gears have just kicked in there. I was like, I can feel that little
They,
bit of an extra jump.
I have indeed. Now, did you say you have a flower?
Yes, I have bought a lovely mystery flower here from somebody.
Oh,
Would
okay.
you like to see it?
Well, here we go, guys. Here is okay. Drum roll. Now you are going to have an opportunity here to become involved in this fun little exercise we're going to do.
Yeah.
Now we're going to Pete and I are going to walk you through two. Well, I'll walk you through two exercises. We're going to have a practice run now with a flower that somebody has given to Peter, and then we'll do a little bit of a Q&A, a little bit of a recap on that. Then we're going to jump straight into the real deal. I said real deal, not real deal. The real deal. So the lovely thing about this work here is that Pete's going to hold up a flower, and here's guys. This is what I'd love you to do. I'd like you to take a look at what Peter's holding up, and then I'm just going to walk you through some of the things that you may experience and feel and see along the way. Now, you are welcome to chat in the comments, or you can write stuff down. It might be quicker just to pop it into the comments box, because what Pete's going to do is he's going to have a look at what comes through, and then be able to validate some of the we may not have a chance to get through all of them, but we'll just scroll through some of them, and the recipient.
Okay.
Is that right, Pete? Does that work well with you? Yeah. So,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
mate,
we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see,
yeah,
and I'll validate what I can. Yep. So we're ready
great.
to draw.
Okay,
Cool.
what
All
have we
right.
got?
So the
Let's
lovely flower
see.
that I've been given.
That's the flower. Okay, there you are. Now,
That's
here's
the
the thing,
flower.
guys. When I see an item like this, the first thing, well, I don't want to get slanted too much by what, I mean, I'm getting messages of this immediately, but I'd rather ask you the question, and it's simply this. The question will be, what's the first thing that comes into your mind? In fact, you might want to look at it and then close your eyes and then just allow some information to come through. It might be one word. It might be a sentence. It might be, is it male or is it female? It may be a taste, a touch, a feel, a smell. It can be any number of things. And most importantly, my friends, the most important emotion to tune into is how you feel. How do you feel when you look at that item? Yes, you can't hold it, but you can see it. How do you feel? You feel, oh, gee, I suddenly feel happy. I feel a bit sad. I feel unsure. I feel very certain about something. Do you know what? This person is at a crossroads. This person can be quite determined. Oh, this person might be a little unsure. There's so many things that can come through for us. But the most important thing, guys, is not to rush the process. So take your time, because you see, the beautiful thing in this world is that we live in such a fast-paced world, and we are so disconnected in so many ways from our psychic abilities. This is one of the most powerful ways for us to retune ourselves and to be back in tune with nature. And what a beautiful way to do that, through the flowers. And don't even consider or worry about what it might not be, or whether I'm right or wrong, because that's all ego stuff. I mean, sure, we all want validation or would like to be validated, but we just take our mind away and move into a sense of faith and trust. Now, the thing, to be honest with you too, is the fact that, the journey of faith and trust takes a lot of development, a lot of skill, and a lot of years. The only difference between you and I is just years and experience. That's all there is to it. I only wish I could go click and then take that out of that and slock it into you, and then boom, you've got all my knowledge and information and awareness and teachings. But the reality is that just takes 40 odd years of trained experience to do that sort of thing. But these are the things to look for, and you might just get one word, but guess what? You might not get anything at all, and that's quite okay. This is not, it should never ever be an exercise of, oh gosh, am I good enough or not? people blow themselves out of the water when they just see
lose that.
Just how good they are. How are we going there?
There's lots and lots of comments. I'm struggling to read them all.
Wow.
There's a lot of comments happening there, which is awesome. And I was just going to say, like, you kind of touched a little bit there on Dave about kind of like you might get one word, you might not get nothing. But is there something that if people are getting like one word, is there something like, do you ever try to like extrapolate or extend like a one word, or you just wait?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I might just get one word that comes out. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I've just elephant. What the hell? I've got a huge elephant here. What is it with an elephant? All I'm getting is elephant. And the person says, I'm just booked to fly out tomorrow on an African safari. Oh, right. That's what that is. So it can be that sort of a thing. It's like either a word or a picture. And here's the thing, guys. Spirit mostly communicate with me in picture form. I often say to people, as soon as I close my eyes, it's like watching a little movie screen, and I'm watching all these. Who's this? Who's got the white car? Who's going for a job at Qantas? I can see the Qantas tail, and it's just all these little images and pictures are moving past. And I'm trying to. It's like that's why a lot of friends call me the spiritual race caller, because I feel like I sound like I'm calling a race when I'm channeling. And we're coming up there, and he's coming up the straight now. Like it just comes through like a torrent. And that's what people say. It's impossible for you to make this up, because when you're channeling, it's just like a torrent of information that comes through, as you well know. How else are we going there, mate?
Yep. And it is it's good. Like there's more coming through. Just giving people a chance to work with it, and it's great. So many people are working with the advice you give them, like leaning in or feeling into that emotional space.
Good, that's great, guys.
Which is really good.
That's great, because like I said before.
So it's like, so just remember, guys.
You go, Pete.
You go, Dave.
I was just going to say, when we are feeling. Guess what? Guess what you're connecting to? This is your soul. We feel with our soul. Our soul doesn't think with our mind. That's all the ego. The conscious mind and intellect is based up here, but your superconscious is your soul. And that's why we talk about our gut feelings, our intuition. Oh, I've got this gut feeling. Guess what? That's your soul knocking on the door. Hello. This is your connection. This is your connection to the divine. And that is your divine connection. And as I said, you must never. Number one thing here, my dear friends, please don't ever fall into the trap of trying to compare yourself with somebody else. Don't ever do that. It's the greatest waste of your energy and time and space, because there are no two people on this planet who have ever been born the same. We're not meant to, but we're meant to develop our gifts and our talents and our skills according to us, with our flavor, with our style and our way. You know what? There's not one person in the world that can read a flower like me, and I cannot read a flower like anyone else can as well. There are no two Peter Williams in this world, and that's rather sad, because I wish there was. But anyway, but the reality is, my friend,
there's plenty of people with that name, but we're not the same.
I know, that's right, exactly. Oh, there's lots. I hate to tell you, Pete, but you are common.
Yeah. Mate, come as I get. I'm like half a dozen, mate.
That's right, exactly. But particularly when it comes to psychic work, and people say, "Oh my God, I'm not as good as him. I'm not as good as her, or she's a fabulous psychic. He's a brilliant medium. Oh my God, I'm not as good." That's all ego stuff. That really, if we are serious about developing this, and I don't mean this necessarily from a perspective of becoming professional, workers like you and I are in the field, Pete, but even just to use it for yourself in your day-to-day skills and your day-to-day environment, to be able to help navigate you through the world. And look what's going on in the world at the moment. Is there ever been another time in our history when we need to focus on ourselves, trust our intuition, and trust our inner guidance, and instead of listening to the outside world? Because we have been purposefully disconnected from our natural skills and abilities since birth, because it's not something that's recognized, especially in the Western world. And but beautifully and happily for me, and somebody who's witnessed, I hate to tell you, Pete, I started in this journey the day that you were born. Oh my God, what does that tell me about my age? Jesus. Oh my God. I was starting my apprenticeship the day you were born. Far out. Pete's just turned 40, and that was when I started my apprenticeship. Jesus. Anyway.
But it's also important to note though, like with people, and when like I always say, like don't ever also get fooled by the fact that if you didn't start young.
Oh,
Like it doesn't matter. Like some
absolutely.
of the most amazing people with the
Thank you.
connection I've actually seen open up at 40 or after.
Oh,
And
100%.
once they open up, it's like bam. It's
Oh,
almost like that 40 years of experience was just waiting to come through.
that's
So
exactly right.
it all takes there as well. So what
Yeah.
we might do is amazing comments kind of coming through. So what we're going to do, I think, just to help the practice and the vibe, and we'll
Yep.
see how we go with this. And if it goes smoothly, we'll run with it. If not, well, we can go back to
Yep.
old school. But who would like to come on the screen and talk about what they're getting? And that way, when you're talking and what you're going, David might be able to help you go that little bit further, or just
Absolutely.
kind of help you to say, because this is where it gets beautiful, because this is when David can actually get your energy, not just a comment, and he
Yeah.
can help you
Love it,
just
Pete.
like
Love
get
it.
into that
Love it.
energy
Love
a
it. Love
little
it.
bit
I love
more.
it.
So, so if you want to do this, just put your hand up if you're got the attendee. So sorry, I've got to get rid of that. Okay, so we're going to. All right, so we're going to have a look at. I'm going to see how this works. So Michelle Santa, you're the first one on my list. So I'm just going to hit allow you to talk. So we should be able to hear you. All right. So I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. So Michelle,
Hello.
are you there?
Yes. Can
Hi,
you hear
Michelle,
me?
how are you?
Hello.
Hi, darling. How are you?
Yes, we can
I'm
hear
very
you.
well, thank you. How are you?
Extremely well. Thanks. Thanks for jumping on tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for hosting this,
You're
both of
very
you.
welcome. First cab off the rank.
You're welcome. So Michelle,
Meant
you
to be
talk
because
us
I
talk us
didn't
through, and
know.
then whatever you're talking through, and that's
Okay. The first thing I got
so.
was
And
soft but deep. Very soft but deep. There's more to this person than meets the eye. That was the first thing I got. That's all I've got so far.
That's okay. That's good. Yep.
okay,
Thanks,
beautiful.
Michelle.
Thank you.
Have you got any tips there to take Michelle possibly get that little bit further? Because sometimes we get a little bit stuck in our ego, going, "That's all I've got." When it's not,
Okay.
you've actually got more there. It's sometimes
Okay.
just about getting.
I have got quite a bit, but the trouble is, if I give it all now, it would have put people.
Yeah.
Yes, you got to wait.
Cool.
Are we
Yeah.
best to have, say, 4 or 5 people and get everyone's overview? And because, mate, I've got messages for this flower. So
Sure.
that would be the best way to do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right,
Michelle.
cool. Well, thanks, Michelle.
You're
So
welcome.
hang in there, and thanks for doing that. Okay, and cool. Julie Irvine. Julie, I'm going to get you to jump on here and ask to unmute yourself. So just have your mute buttons ready, guys, if you want to jump on. So Julie, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi, Julie.
Hi, David.
Yes,
How are
we
you?
can.
Good, thanks, darling. How are you?
Good.
That's
Thanks
good.
for throwing me under the bus.
I'll drive over you slowly.
When I first got it, I got a sad feeling. And then I got a message to say that I'm here for my daughter.
Right.
What else did I get? That was probably the main thing that I got. I'm here for my daughter. I feel that the daughter's going through a bit of a hard time, and that's why the mother's come through.
Right.
She's there to support her. She just needs to listen. She's been giving her signs, but she hasn't quite picked up on them yet.
Okay.
But if she thinks about it,
Well,
there has been a sign, and then she'll realise that she's been there with her.
Thank you.
So I don't know if that's
beautiful. Love that one.
Okay. Well, we'll take note of that, and we'll come back to you. Thanks, Jules.
No, we'll go through a couple more, and then that's cool.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, Julie.
Just on that one too. While that's brought up a good example there, David, I just want to ask, because it did come up in the questions before we started this exercise. So people kind of asking, does this psychometry, or like if you're connecting with a flower, or any kind of psychometry, can that lead into mediumship connection?
100%. I often do mediumship often connects in, and often Uncle Fred might pop in or Grandma might pop in. But this is where, and to answer the question, I'll just give you a quick analogy of that. I picked up a bag on one occasion, and as soon as I picked it up, all I could smell and taste was Jersey caramel lollies. and I had a mouthful of Jersey caramel lollies, a little square caramel lollies. And I thought, what the hell? Why have I got Jersey caramel lollies? Taste, touch, feel like a packet of them. Turned out, long story short, the lady who bought the flower, she burst into tears. Her late grandfather had only passed away 6 weeks before. When she was a little kid, she used to stay there every Friday night, and he would always have Jersey caramel night for his granddaughter. But that was him connecting through. Beautiful. So he came through and said, I'm here, but here's the Jersey caramels because you know who this is. And she had said on the way to the flower reading, Pop, if you're there, can you give me a message? And she thought he'd pop in and say, hi, it's Pop here. But no, he gave her a packet of Jersey caramels and she knew exactly who it was. So yeah, so that's an example of mediumship with the flowers.
Love that. And that's cool. And the reason why I just wanted to ask that for everyone too is as you're probably hearing Julie's messages there, you could probably hear her talking about feeling like there's a mother in the spirit world wanting to give that. And that's leading into that. And that's completely fine. If you're getting that, that's awesome. Run with it. Trust it, because it's all about the trust. But I just thought that was a great time to ask that question and just kind of elaborate for everyone here that's participating. Because I know what's going to happen, even though David and I will absolutely say, don't compare, or like, some of you are there, sitting there. I know, I'm psychic, remember? You're going to be there going, oh, I didn't get anything like that. Like, oh my God, like I just got sadness, or I just got like love, and that, you got to remember that's completely fine. So, but I just wanted to use that because it was a great opening to answer that question. So that was great. But thank you, Julie, for that. Kay Hamilton, are you there? If it's not going to work, we'll move on because we're having trouble. Yep. Okay, you there?
Hello, sorry, I did put my hand up earlier when I was looking to find the hand, but that's okay. I got, I typed in things earlier. I got strength and also sort of a bit of sadness or despair, but some unfolding, something that was evolving from a situation.
Okay, that's great.
Love that.
That's
cool.
really good.
Kay.
Thanks, Kay. That's
awesome. We're going to do 2 more, and then we'll come into this. Now we're going to go from Kate to Cat. So I just want to clarify that, because otherwise we think it's like, yeah, Kate. So we're talking to Cat now. So Cat, we're just going to get you to unmute, and you can give us what you have been receiving from this lovely mystery flower here. So Kat, are you there? Ooh, it's all just rolled around on me. We'll give you another couple of seconds, Kat, and otherwise, Mandy Weir, you are going to be next on the hit list.
Oh, Mandy, my darling Mandy.
So, Kat, I'm just going to give you one more chance. If you unmute yourself, find it. If not, I do apologize, but just going to move on for the sake of the time. Okay, yep, sorry. Okay, so Mandy, I'm going to give you permission to talk there now. So, Mandy, if you are there, that'd be great. And just letting you know,
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Amy will be after.
Hi, sweetheart.
So... Hello,
yes, Mandy,
my favourite.
Beautiful.
Hello, my darling. God, I miss you.
I know, I miss you. You can probably hear me from down there.
Okay, Mandy, your time's up. Their favoritism's not allowed here.
Soon as
misses me, but her aim's getting better.
Yeah. Soon as the flower popped up, I felt really heavy in the chest, like really heavy, like that pain when somebody you really love is gone and your whole inside implodes. But then within about 2 seconds, I had a big smile on my face, and it was like I've gone through the grief and the hurt, and I've survived, and now I'm walking into this next journey where I have this calm, and I know who I am now, and I've identified where I am and the excitement of what was coming thereafter. Because this person, I feel, is now going into the next stage of their life of understanding them, using that pain to move forward.
Absolutely brilliant, honey. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much, Mandy.
Thank you.
Cool. And probably just one more. Amy Price.
Amy
Price, if you are there.
Hello.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm good. When I saw the flower, I got like this person's very goal orientated. I like to set goals, but also they've had a few issues happen, and now they're kind of getting back on track. But then also the exact same as everybody else, like the deep sadness and suffering. But it feels like there's something there that this person is angry that they missed like a call
Mhm.
or something from the person that this deep sadness is from, and they're regretting not answering a phone call or regretting not calling that person before then. It needs to kind of be let go. There's something there, like they're regretting something, but they need to kind of move on now because it's
Wow.
not their fault. It
Okay.
feels like really heavy, like it's their
Yep.
fault.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, honey. Anything else? Is that it?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks for jumping on tonight, honey. It's nice to hear you.
That's
Nice
that's
to
awesome.
hear you guys too.
Okay. Thanks, hon.
Thanks, Amy. Cool. Well, all that'll do for this one, Dave. So, how do you want to do this? But that's great. Thank you to everyone who's just like
Yes, thank you, guys.
been on
You've all-
cue,
you-
unmuted themselves, and you know what? Being brave enough to get on here in front of a big group of people and actually give what you are receiving.
Well done.
That is huge.
I'm
And
damn
do
proud
not
of you.
underestimate Spirit have seen that.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
awesome. So, Mr. Law, where do you want to go from here with this one?
I was just going to say, guys, you know what? This is our family. We're a family. We're all one big family. And there's nothing to be fearful of and to be frightened of. Let's just jump all in this together and have some fun. We're all here to support each other, to love each other, and encourage each other. That's what this is all about. Now, to answer the question about what people was asking about the flower, from my interpretation, if you just hold it up again, please, mate. Yep, there we go. Now, the first thing, thank you. That's awesome. Now, you beautiful ladies just brought in some lovely messages there. And it's so funny, a couple of you alluded to some things that I certainly picked up. I don't know who the owner of this flower is just yet, but we'll find out in just a moment. The first thing I'm going to say is the fact that that flower, that item there, it stands on its own. If you just hold it up, Pete, please. Okay, that's it. Hold it up straight. That's it. Great.
Yep.
Now, and just hold it back a little bit so that I can explain to you. No, back towards you. That's it. Yep, that's it. Now, guys, when you see that,
there, yep.
just how that can. That's it. Perfect. Now, guys, when you look at this flower, when I get a flower like this, the first thing I'm going to pick up is the fact that is. See how it stands up tall and strong. Now, it's not a tree trunk. It's not a huge tree. So the first thing I will interpret is that it's foliage. It's a piece of beautiful bush with the lovely pink flowers on it. So here's the thing. For a start, this seems to indicate this is somebody who's quite able to stand on their own 2 feet. They're not somebody who's afraid to be quite individual in their own way. This has not been an easy journey. Mandy alluded to that. And I've got to tell you that it's so funny because to me, it's like the toil and the drama in the first half of life are going to be more challenging than in the latter part of life. Now, let's come to the flowers and the colors of the flower. As you can see, when you look closely at the color with the pinks, you've got the light pinky purple on the outside, then you've got the deeper crimsons and the purple on the inside. Now, for many of you do know that purples and the crimsons and what have you represent spiritual growth and awareness. The lovely thing about this is there's almost a little bit of a sense of, I don't know whether the word is timidity, whether a little timid, but there's a real sense that there's so much more that needs to just go boom, wants to get out there. And it's like, but can I? It's like there is a little bit of a half and half. Half pulls them back, but the other half goes, come on, let's do this. But the beautiful thing is, as life is going on for this person, it's just going to be something. It's just like excuse me, coming through, which is fantastic. And it's just now, it's almost like, oh, I can start to feel and see and feel like a sense of relief that there seems to be light on the horizon for what is ahead for me. And the beautiful thing is there's not a sense of looking back. If there's any sense of looking over the shoulder and looking back at the past, it's all about learning from the past, not lamenting it and living there and dwelling on everything that's happened. Because remember, everything that happens to us serves us if our mindset is correct and right, because everything is there to help us and serve us. Even the trials and tribulations, they must be blessed, and the quicker we bless them and learn the lesson, the quicker we're able to progress on our spiritual path. But coming back to the other, it's a person who's got a lot of compassion, but the lovely thing too, there's a sense of reservation. But when the guard is down a little bit, they can but there's a little bit of sense of the guard being up, which is fantastic. It's only self-preservation because of what they've endured or what they've been through in the past. They really would like to or want to trust more, and they are learning that. But my God, I don't know whether this person is on a spiritual path or journey as far as wanting to learn about this. I'd be surprised if they're not, given what this item is. But that's it in a nutshell. I mean, I could waffle on, but there we go.
You can
That's
I waffled on, but I got to pause. But you can see like David's like that little wind-up doll. Once you breathe,
I know.
it's hard to stop because once you get into yeah. Now the question is, I've got to ask for everybody that's listening: did you get all of that?
You know what?
Because there was just the way you see it's amazing, but you can see the beautiful thing there about when you were doing that, David. And this is what's really important. And you got to see that in absolute action. David was just trusting, and there was, and because you could see the speed and the rate that the information was coming through, bang, 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 bang. The beautiful part about that is because when it comes through that fast, your ego, your actual conscious mind, this part at the front, the critical thinking part, has no time to get tied up in it. It does not want, it's like, it wants to, but David's just letting it flow through. And it doesn't have time to get attached to it going, but hang on, you talked about being a little bit guarded. What does that really mean? Like, no, just, it's cool. I acknowledge that next, next. So you can see that. Now, it's not saying that you have to give David a run for his mother and become the next spiritual auctioneer. The whole thing is, but it's a great example. You could see how it was just one thing after another, after another. And so it's a beautiful thing. So but again, thank you so much for like demonstrating that, Dave. That was awesome. And you can see that now. The other thing too is just before we get into the actual flower aspect of it, but one observation I'd love to make a note for how you did that, and this might be helpful for everyone here. When I have had the privilege of doing flower readings as well, it's just something how I work, because again, I'm a very visual person. Did you notice everyone here? When David said David wanted to see the flower. Did you notice that? He's like, no, Pete, I want to pull it back. I want to see it for what it is in its entirety. You got a real sense of what it was, how I want to see how it's standing up. Because, I'm doing this and that's right. I'm trying to give it angles so everybody can see what's going on. But he said, I want to see, okay, no, it's standing straight up. And from that, would you say that simple visual aspect of the flower, would you say, like using your terminology, acted as a bit of a spark plug for you to get into that?
Absolutely. 100%, mate. Because as soon as I pull an item out of a paper bag, as I said, I get 80-90% of my messages just from the energy. But when I look at the item, I think, aha, it's this. Yeah. Often I'll go, right, hang on, there's more. And it'll come through accordingly because of the structure of the flower, the item, whether it just stands up tall and strong like that, or whether it could be a tiny little leaf. It can be a burnt, like a dead gum tree leaf, a gum leaf. It can be a dead gum leaf. Everything has a message, and even not just the message of the energy, but the item itself. Now, to me, when I see somebody might bring along like a dead leaf, a dead gum leaf, a leaf of any sort, there's nothing wrong with it. You can bring whatever you want. But when I see a dead leaf as opposed to a green leaf, that to me represents endings, death, and transition, not necessarily in a death of a person, but a death of a situation and a new chapter, because the leaf is dead. But if it's a green leaf, it's very lush and things are ripe. It's fascinating to see. As I said, I could be here for hours. I can give you all the insights as to every item and what it means. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that, and I think it was just a really great, because if you ever want to come back and watch the replay with us, and even when the second flower, when we practice with the second flower, that might be a little bit harder for you, Dave. But the interesting part though is like just seeing how Dave started with that, and it's just little things. And I personally, I recognize that straight away. I just thought it was a beautiful example, and just wanted to point that out for everyone watching. He examined the style of flower because that adds something in order. Then you actually very, very specifically and intentionally went into the color and the style of the flowers. But you'd also notice, see, it's amazing when you're listening, guys, and this is different because for the first time, when obviously, if you've seen David read before, more than likely you have been in the room receiving readings. Therefore, you're there listening in a very different format, in a different way. Whereas this time you're practicing, so you'll hear David say things in a very different way again. And you would have noticed even with the colors, and I love that, David. So you zoomed in and going outer color, inner color, understanding these things, and these are all just things that really, it's almost like I don't know why, it's almost like the poker machine. You're putting the coins in to get it going, and then it's like ching 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 ching, and then it's just chong 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 chong, and it all of a sudden just gets everything kind of moving. So that was yeah, it's really cool. I did that. So yeah, I love that. So thank you so much for delving into that, and thank you for everyone who jumped in on that. That's actually mine.
There you are.
So,
there you are.
And it's unusual. I usually don't go for that kind of color flower in particular, but that really caught my attention today. So I was like, oh, I really want that one. So
there you are.
Yeah, it was really like my mate, like bang on with everything. So it's like, it's like, you know,
well done, guys. Well done
as well.
Well done. Congratulations to you all.
And if a few people that picked up on there, especially like goals, getting back on track, those particular things, and then it was like, I think, yeah, Mandy was saying it, like the next stage. That's very much what it is. And of course, Dave's like, I'm not sure. I'm not be surprised if you're not on a spiritual path. Well, if I'm not, I'm in trouble. So, but yeah, so it's a beautiful thing. So, but that's me. It's just a cool, different way that you guys can see that. So hopefully that has helped you. Now, just before we jump into the second one, which will be a little bit different again, but we're just I'm going to have a quick examination of the questions to see if anything relates to reading the flower, and we'll get David to have a look at those. So just give me a second, guys, there. So just scrolling down here a bit. Was the person a male or female? Well, hopefully you figured that out by now. I identify as a male. So I've answered that one there. Cool. Okay. So Wendy was asking here, what does this flower mean? David, when you're talking about, you don't really look at you don't go into like exact flower meanings.
It doesn't matter. No, I don't go into what a rose means. I don't go in because, I mean, some people say to me, honey, they might say, oh, you know, God, a yellow rose is my favorite flower, but I couldn't find one in the garden. So all I could bring was this. And I'll say, you know what, guys, if a yellow rose is your favorite flower or whatever it is, that's not the point. I'm actually reading the energy. I'm reading your energy through an item that you've chosen, and it's an item that vibrates with its own energy, which is the deeper essence energy of the item that you chose. So it doesn't really matter. And I don't know of anyone that's ever been disappointed with their messages because they didn't bring a yellow rose. I mean, and to be honest, even though a yellow rose might be someone's favorite flower, they still don't know what it means. You know, it's just the fact that it's a pretty flower. But they might think, oh, but because it meant blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work like that. So it's just purely a conduit that brings, it's a conduit between the universe and myself. I connect, and that's where the connection comes in. Spirit, nature, myself, boom, translates as a message.
I love that. And great question here, actually, from Tracy Clark. So she's asking, is the stem the timeline? Would it be closer to the flower, the closer to present time? Is not that really, something that judging from what you did there, you could kind of deduct that?
Yeah. But... It's funny because, and see, here's the thing, honey, Tracy, this is a good point. And this is I won't say the trouble, but it's the fascinating aspect of this work, because when I start getting messages like I was getting off Pete's flower, I was talking about timelines, but it's not necessarily because of the way the stem is. I mean, I look at the stem and the fact that it stood up straight is like, this is a person who can stand on their own 2 feet. They stand on their own. They're individual. They're not really bothered by other people around them. But but it's not really. I don't look at the length of an item to gain a sense of timing on it. No.
So, but in this particular instance, did that come to you? Did it?
Yes, it did. It came to me. Yep, it came to me as in the sense of, okay, this person's had like, I've been through what I've been through in my past, and now's the time to really break out into the spiritual realm and really go forth. And that's, you know, that's what has happened.
Yep. Cool. Love that. That was a really good question, actually, and I thought that was a great way of looking at it.
Thanks, Trace.
And very quickly before we jump on to the next one, last question again from Donna Bonus. Have you ever written a book, David?
Not yet. It is. Look, I've said this for so many years.
Donna, he needs to fix his glasses.
As soon as I fix these. I mean, will you still take me seriously? Oh, for God's sake. But
I love it.
there's
I love
lots
it.
of
Cool.
things in the pipeline. Now
and
that I'm
just-
hearing Tassie and laid back a little bit more with time, I'll be accomplishing a few of those things. So thank you for your question. You won't be disappointed.
No, essentially, just to answer a couple of quick questions in the chat that's happening there. A couple of people asking about, because obviously, even in the messages that everybody's picking up, there's quite a theme of around like motherly or like even mother-daughter energy. A couple of guys said, "Did I pick this with my daughter?" Or did no? Actually, I didn't. It was just purely by me, and it was just pick it up. So there was no specifics, or there was, and there's sometimes yes, you can like probably a quick question there too, Dave. Is have you like had that where like if someone was with someone picking the flower, you might pick up on the other person's energy?
Let me tell you,
well?
guys, again, I could turn this into a 3-hour training session. It is fantastic. I remember picking up a flower at a party once, and this lady's flower.
Won't.
What was that?
We won't though. Not 3 hours.
We won't. No. And anyway, and I picked up this flower and went, brrr, and then halfway through the messages, the whole tone, the energy changed. And I went into another realm. It's like, God, that was weird. So I was giving one lot of messages, and the whole thing seemed to change. Anyway, at the end of it, I said, "Who owns the flower, please?" And the lady said, "That's mine." I said, "How did we go?" She said, "Look, do you know what?" She said, "Half of your reading was so bang on, it was just brilliant, but the other half made no sense at all." And I said, "Well, I sort of picked that up. It seemed weird, but anyway." Turns out, I said, and I thank God I asked the question. I said, "Oh, did you pick the flower?" Oh, she said, "No, Mum picked it and gave it to me, and her mother was sitting there." So the other half of the reading was her mother, because her mother said, "Oh," she said, "the other half, it sounded more like Mum." I said, "Who picked the flower?" She said, "Mum picked the flower and gave it to me." I said, "Bingo, you got both your energies on there." And it blew them away, but it was a great demonstration to show how powerful energy works. That's happened to me a number of times. It happened once at one of our shows, Pete, that we did at the RSL, when I got a lady out of the audience to come and pick up a bag. Remember that? And the lady who I read the message for, she said half of it made sense, the other half didn't. And the other half said the lady who picked up the bag, who came down and picked it up, said, "Actually, the rest of it belonged to me." Remember that? So that's it. It happens. Energy crossover. That's why I say to people, when you pick a flower or an item and put it in the bag, don't let anyone else touch it, because it can interfere with the energies. But it's fascinating because it still works. You know.
And then, like, the energy like that can cross over, like, physically with a physical person, but even on a spiritual level as well. Like, in terms of we're connecting, like, for myself, if I'm connecting with a past loved one, like, it also transfers. Like, I can be talking to a spirit, but it may not be for that person in the room, but it's going to be for their partner, because they're not bound by, it needs to be you in the room. It's not physical like that. So, you know, and it's I love that Jenny Creswell's just put, the energy doesn't lie, and the energy is just there. That's when you know, as much as it can get confusing and frustrating at times, but the whole thing is we go with the energy and we go where it's strongest. That's all it does. So it's a big one, is that. And also, just before we jump into this one, Viv in the chat here, Dave's just asked, are there any books you can recommend? And I'm assuming, Viv, that it's around this kind of stuff. Have you got any particular books that you...
Not so much. Actually, I don't know any flower reading books at all. I don't know any. I'm not aware of any. I mean, there might be, but flower reading.
Well, there's going to be one in the future. And
hopefully
it's not 50-50.
There'll be one in the future, and that should be a bestseller, because I don't think there's any others out there. What was that?
I'm hoping it's not going to be written and published in the year 50-50.
No. Oh, all right then. I took that as a slap. Bitch.
It's a friendly spiritual bitch slap, mate.
Guys, at this point, you should get on and jump on and book a ticket and join Peter and I in Fiji in November. This is the fun we're going to be having in Fiji in November. It's going to be hilarious and fun, and you'll learn a stack. Anyway, so get back to the other. Now, where do we get up to? What are we talking about?
We're going to move into the second. We're going to move into the second round now.
Yep. Have I got energy? Oh, sorry, I've got a spirit guide here distracting me. Okay.
Oh, it's awesome. We've got a couple of people online who are joining us from Fiji. So Fiji is there. David, while you're sorting that out with your spirit guide, just to let you know, it's going to be awesome. Fiji's happening in November, so November 5th, we're going to have a retreat with David and I. It's your soulful self, where and these are the kind of things we're not necessarily teaching these things, but we're going to help you to fine tune so you can connect more with yourself. That's why it's called your soulful self, so you can get more in touch with this space, working with that. So, if you're thinking about it, we only have a couple of spaces left. We've got 2 singles and a twin.
Yeah.
So if you still want to, but you've got to get in before the end of August if you do want to come along for that. If you'd like more information, just shoot us a DM or put it in the chat there. We can grab your name and we can send you some info. But we're really looking forward. It's going to be a lot of fun. But awesome. So have you sorted out your spirit guides there, Dave?
Yes, I have. They're so annoying.
Distracted by the spirits.
I know. I mean, this magic, my house of magic, my little magic cottage is full of spirits. They're all around. They cook me breakfast, lunch, dinner. They sit here and argue with me while I'm trying to do a channel. Oh, dear. Never mind.
So all yours, mate.
All mine. Okay. Right. Exercise number 2, guys. So here we go. We'll have some fun with this one. Now, you've had an experience a few moments ago with Pete's flower, and you saw how other people came in and you got an idea about intuition and guidance and taste, touch, feel, smell, that sort of thing. Now, I'm going to show you the next, but before I show you the next item, I'll give you a little bit of an idea about how I work, in the sense that I always say to people, just bring a paper bag along with a flower or an item in it, and that's what I use, because obviously I don't want to see. And one thing too, when I'm with a group of people and doing a flower reading party, I never like to see I don't want to see people's bags. I don't want any identification, because crazily enough, the less I know about a flower or who owns it, the better and the more stronger, and the stronger and the more powerful the messages can be. Even a total stranger, it can really throw me out if I see them carry their little bag in, because I know it belongs to that person, and it just throws me out. So the less is more, less is better. Now, our next little exercise, there's a little bag, and it's got a number 13 on it. It's got a number 13 in a circle. Now, when people bring a flower along, they can put a leaf or they can put anything in there, but sometimes the number, or it can be an image or a diagram that they can put on there, that can contribute to the message. But I don't want to confuse it all. I'll pull the flower out, so you might have got something off that immediately, but here's our little item that you're going to read for next. So I hope you can see what that is there. Okay. And I'm just going to hold it there, and I'd like you just to take your time. And look at what this might mean. There you are, in its truest form. And see what you might pick up from that, whether it is a male or a female, what might be with this person, with where they're going at this point. If things are opening up, or if they're a little blocked, or again, using the senses there. And sometimes once you've almost got a look of the flower and closed your eyes, you take a snapshot of it and allow your senses to really go, I won't say go wild, but just explore your senses. And guys, this is the very element of where the trusting process begins. Trusting what are the first things that comes into your head. And there's no such thing as a stupid message or a silly message, or that's a ridiculous message, or that couldn't possibly apply to this person. And how would you know? You don't even know who owns it. It's certainly not my flower, I can tell you that. But it's there's so many messages attached to this, strictly because obviously I know the person who's attached to it. But I'm just so intrigued to see what you feel, see, and perceive, and might sort of lead you in on that here. But the good thing too is that one thing I would highly recommend you to consider doing, if you would like to develop, while you're getting your little messages there, if you would like to develop your psychic abilities and skills, my friends, you can start exactly the way that I did. And how did I start? Innocently, by every little once in a while, I'd get a group of friends together, and I'd have a little flower reading party for my friends. What was that? You what?
Crack open skulls, get 22 stitches.
Yeah, exactly. And God, you're funny. So yeah, get yourself a baseball bat, yeah, bang around the head. But I can remember back in, and I must tell you this story. While you're writing your stuff down, I've got to tell you this story. I was doing a flower reading party for a group of friends in Sydney many years ago. It was a dinner party we had, God, back in the heady days of the 80s, when people had dinner parties at their homes. And my beautiful former wife, Lisa, and I were with this group of friends. And at the end of it, they said, "Oh, can we have a little flower reading party?" I said, "Yeah, not a party. Can we have a little flower reading?" "Yeah, go on, out the back you go." So they went out there and they got all their flowers. Well, I've got to tell you, this is crazy. There was about 6 or 7 people, and they went out with their little bags and got their flowers. But the person, Wendy and Wayne are two of my dear friends, and Wayne was so skeptical. He was so skeptical about this. He thought, "What a crock. This guy, come on, Dave. No, come on, Wayne." So guess what he did? The little bugger, when he went out there, and everyone said, "You're not allowed to touch each other's flower. You can't touch each other's flower." So everyone got their own flower. Well, Wayne got his flower. Wait till you hear what happened. He got his flower. The bloody bugger went around everyone and said, "Can you touch it? Blow on it. Can you touch it? Can you blow on it?" So 7 people had touched his flower and imbued it with their energy, and he popped it in the bag. Well, guess what happened? When it came to the readings, we're sitting around the dinner table and I'm giving everyone their messages. When it came to Wayne's flower, obviously I didn't know it was his. When I picked the flower out of the bag, I went nuts and I went, "Oh, what the hell?" I said, "Oh my God, what the hell? Are you schizophrenic?" I said, "I've got all these different personalities in my head." And it was all, and I was so confused. I said, "I'm lost and I'm confused. I feel like you're a schizophrenic, but there's no one here that's a schizophrenic. I'm so sorry, but whoever you are, I just can't read your flower. I've got all these messages and all these voices bombarding me. Sorry." Wayne nearly fell off his chair and his mouth was on the floor, and everyone else was like, and I said, "What's the story?" And he said, "Mate, I've got the biggest apology to make to you." And I said, "Why?" And he told me what he did. No, I wasn't offended. He said, "Mate, I'd have to apologize genuinely. I feel like I've offended you." He said, "I had no idea how strong or how real your gift was." And I said, "Mate, don't be offended by it." So I think it's quite hilarious. But he was changed man after that night. He said, "How could you possibly know that I had gone around it?" He said, "I actually went around everyone and got everyone to touch it." I said, "No wonder I thought I was a freaking schizophrenic, because everyone had touched it." So that's the power and demonstration of energy. And guys, this was in the very early days of me reading. So I was still, and as I said earlier tonight, I'm still developing this gift and this ability and skill. But that was a great demonstration from Spirit to show that's like, hang on a minute, you bang on the money, even though I thought I was going nuts. So there you are. How are we going there, mate? How's it?
Nah, there are lots and lots of comments rolling through here.
Okay,
so
let's roll.
It might be time. It might be time to grab some people up online. So, guys, if you are wanting to jump on, have a quick chat to Dave about what you're getting, just raise your hand, and we will come and have a look at where it needs to go. And I'm just trying to. Usually, it puts you at the top, but it's not doing it for me. So I'm going to find you. All right, so we're going to go straight first one off here. Amanda, I don't have a last name, so I've just got Amanda. So Amanda, I'm going to get you to jump on here.
Hello.
Amanda,
Hi, Amanda.
How are you going?
Good, thanks, love. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
That's good.
So the first thing I got with this person was health.
Yes.
Health came through straight away, and then I saw like changes around this person, like changes are coming. There was a feeling of this person being scattered, and that person is a people pleaser.
Yes.
I also felt that they're going in, like they're branching out in a new direction, but I had a feeling that either they're blocked in some way or they're blocking themselves from moving forward in some way.
Okay.
So that they were the main things that stood out for me.
Thank you, honey. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.
Beautiful. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Okay, now jump it. Oh, I've got to go find him. Anne Zan. Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. Hang on. I might have 2 people. Just bear with me. Now, Anne Zan, you're there, Anne.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Hi, Anne.
Hi, David. How you going?
Yes,
Thanks, darling. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you very much.
That's good.
What I saw is somebody that's had some really bad health issues that seem to be getting through it, but they've got a very, very huge family network around them.
Yes.
That's giving them that strength to blossom and get
Yep.
through that bad health. And
Right.
they're getting through it.
Yep.
But I see great family connection with that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anne. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right, thank you, Anne. Right, and jumping down, we've got a few. Oh, let's come on, Dave. I cannot resist. Jane Slate Leach.
Oh, Janie.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
Oh,
Oh, of course, no show without punch, love.
Oh my God. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, you're happy and I'm gay, so that's a great start.
Ah. Oh gosh, right. I'm psychic. I can't believe it.
Oh, good.
Okay, so what did I get? I got now look, I might be talking about myself here, but there's a strong connection to England, I felt.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sense of directness and moving in one direction, and something about money or richness.
Okay.
Mm.
Yep.
And that's kind of it, really.
Well, honey, you've all done very well. Yeah, you've all done very well. Thanks, darling. That's absolutely awesome.
All right, awesome.
I love you guys.
Wait till you guys hear what you've just said. You are all going to be blown out of the water so far. So please continue.
Okay, all right. Let's have a crack here.
Thanks, honey.
Yeah, sorry, Jane. Thank you for that. We're just going to jump on the next person. Thank you. Just going to jump down here. Okay, right. So we're going to jump into. Oh, sorry, I just got to find it. It's moved on me. I don't know why the hands are not first, but anyway. All right. So we're going to go. I can't help myself. So we had Jane, which is a connection because Jane, we used to run the events that Dave and I'll be part of, and we used to fundraise for Jane at the events that Dave and I used to do at the RSL here in the Gold Coast. That's why I was I love the old connection there. I couldn't resist. But now I'm going to be a bit biased. I'm going to jump in. So I've got a inner power member. So Vanessa Murdoch.
Hello, everyone there.
Hi, Vanessa. How are you, love?
Oh, spectacular. Thank you.
I'd expect nothing less.
Excellent. That's good. So straight away, just branching out. That's all that just flew into my head, like in real big, bold letters, like smack me in the forehead. And it was just, but then it settled and then just went, but in a quiet way, just behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I was at.
Fantastic.
But it was exciting to get such a big, bold thing at my head.
Thanks, darling. Much appreciated.
Oh, appreciation's right back at both years. Thank you.
Thanks, honey. Thank you.
No, thanks, Vanessa. Beautiful. Okay, all right. And we'll go a couple more and we'll have a look down here. Okay. Oh, Will Nichols. You've put your hand up here. So I think, you jumped up there. How are you going, Will?
I'm not too bad. Can you hear me?
We can indeed. Will, how are you, honey?
Good. Yourself?
Good, thank you. Extremely
Lovely
well.
to see your smiling face again.
Thank you very much. How very kind. Thank you.
Now, the first thing that came through really, really strongly was just Nan, a grandmother figure.
A man and grandmother figure, yeah.
Sorry, Nan or grandmother.
Oh, Nan,
yeah.
sorry, Nan. Yep.
It's a strong lady, but she's very torn.
Okay.
The only other thing I got that she's got open arms, but she's very heavy-hearted.
Okay.
So, don't know if that means anything, but yeah, that came through quite strongly.
Jotting it all down.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Will. That's awesome, honey. Thank you.
That's
the best thing, mate. Just
all the best, honey. Thank you.
Thanks,
mate. Cool. All right, and I think we'll go there from Dave. We'll probably finish the connect there. So
that's it.
Do you want to enlighten us and get a chat to your spirit guides about this one?
Okay. Well, before I introduce you to my mystery spirit guide, I want to thank you and commend each of you You cannot believe how on the money each of you have been. I am completely blown away, and this completely validates my point at the beginning of the night when I said everyone has a gift, skill, and talent to be able to tune into something, and don't think that I'm just the flower reading man with all the abilities and gifts. Nope. This is the very thing that blows people away. And in my psychic development classes that I've done over the years, this is the process I take people through, and they just get blown out of the water when they discover for themselves just how in tune they really are when they let go and move into faith and trust. It is my privilege to introduce you to my mystery guest tonight, who is going to validate so much of what each of you have said. And guess who it is? It is my darling sister, Lynette.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, my sister, my first overseas guest. She's just flown in to visit me. So Lynn flew down yesterday, and I said, hey, how would you like to be involved in this? She said, oh my God, yeah. So Lynn went and chose this flower, and she said, oh, Lynn loves all this. So here's my darling sister, Lynnie, and she can walk you through what you have just blown her out of the water with. And I've got to tell you, if you don't mind me saying, there was one stage there, the tears appeared in her eyes, and she, with something that some of you have said. So there you go. Away we go.
Amanda, you were talking about health. So that can go two ways. Firstly, I was a nurse for 40 years. So in that respect, that's got a lot to do with health. And then along with Anne, health issues. So I do have some health issues. So either way, Amanda, that goes with both ways, but same again with Anne. Also, Amanda, changes. I've had a lot of changes since leaving nursing. And yes, I can be a bit scattered, but that goes with the changes that I've had. And yes, I am heading in a new direction, Amanda. And huge family network, of course. I've
Massive.
got David, mum's still here with us, brothers.
But also too, last Easter, we had a family reunion with how many?
89 people.
89, the Laws family came to our family reunion. So the Laws family is a huge network.
Yeah, I've got a massive network. Jane, England connection. A lot of our relatives were English, and I've been to England once. I'm dying to get back because I've done a huge family tree, and of course, a lot of them, not all convicts, but there was one or two. But
her brother is the Queen.
True.
And he's in the right penal colony right now.
That's right. Exactly. I am, mate. I've got to behave myself.
Jane, when it comes to richness and dollars and whatever, oh, fingers crossed, love. I hope that comes true because everything else has.
Yeah, that's right. And also, too, on that note, Jane, Lynn had a couple of readings in recent times, and they both said the same thing about riches and wealth, didn't they?
Yeah, I had one reading with a lady not so long ago, and the cards that she was reading, it was Pentacles kept coming up, the Queen of Pentacles and this and that. And then she said, look, the only card you're missing is the King of Pentacles. And the next card was exactly that.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't know what you're doing. She said, but you are going to be rich beyond words. And I was like, bring it on. Vanessa said, branching out. Yes,
What's this reader's name? Can we have the number?
Yeah, sure. Vanessa said, I'm branching out. Yes, I quit nursing a couple of years ago. And yes, I'm branching out, doing a few different things. Good on you. And yes, I am quiet behind the scenes. Just ask David. I was the spirit guide in the background.
Yeah. Because she's trying to motion something to me. I thought, what? Because I'm trying to focus on this, but I might be gay, but I can still only do one thing at a time. I'm not like a woman,
And Will was talking about a nan or a grandma coming through, and I had a really close connection with a grandmother and a great-grandmother.
Yeah, so, that's right. Absolutely.
So well done, everyone. Beautiful. That was fabulous.
Well done.
Well done, everyone.
Proud of you guys. Yeah. So
thank you immensely, everyone.
That's right. I know. So just an extraordinary effort. Thanks, darling. Thank you. Yep. So there you are. There's a little bit of a test drive for you, as to show you just how in tune you can be. And all it takes is just a few. And did you see, guys, the ladies that came on with just 2 or 3 little messages? That's it. Not big long rants or what have you. Just a few little. I feel this, and so did you hear how many of them use the word I feel? you know, I feel this person. I feel this person.
Feel.
When we use the word feel, guess what? That's connection to spirit. I feel, because you feel with your soul. Like I said before, instead of saying, well, you know what I know about this person, we don't use the word know, we feel. And when we're using it, tune into that word feel, that's where the magic happens. It's magnificent.
It is, and on that note, it's a great kind of segue to kind of mention there. It's slightly in the different things. So, it's here's a key thing: if you get a student up and you start listening to what the reader or the person is actually saying to you, you actually pay attention to the words, not just wait for the messages and the outcomes that you're looking to hear. If you actually start listening to the words, you can actually start to kind of decipher what kind of modality or where that reader's working. So it's really like fascinating, because with the psychometry aspect, like all of you have been doing tonight, which you just demonstrated you did amazingly, like you're in that sense and feeling and whatever else. And that is your sense. That's your psychic senses, because you're working within your own sense of feeling. And that's great. It's a connection to your soul. It's a connection to that greater energy that you immediately have contact, like connection with. So when you're feeling that and you're starting to get that flow, you're working with the feeling. The interesting part too is from there is like, if you start to notice, like, see, for me, and when you're working a little bit more in the mediumship and all that direct connection to spirit, we don't so much use feel. It's going to be I see and I hear and I work with, because it's actually external from us. Yeah. And so that's when, and I've seen David use that as well, when he's down the side commentary there, hang on, but I've got a man here. And it's like, I'm not feeling a man. It's like,
I know.
No, you don't, there's a man here and he's doing this and he's saying that, you know.
That's right.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's really quite fascinating. And sometimes just, you guys, if you pay attention to the wording, you'll see which kind of channel we're actually tuning into. So the subtlety there as well. So that's absolutely, absolutely beautiful. So, but I love that. What an amazing time. And like, it just goes to show you can do it as well. Okay. Like, and you know, so I think a few people, I think I saw Viv's comment in the chat there going, like, I'm like Bloomer. This is awesome. So that's
it's never too late, Viv.
Pardon the pun with the flowers.
What was that?
So, you know, it's just like, pardon the pun with the, I'm a late bloomer with all the flowers.
Of course.
But, you know, it's good to have the opportunity.
Exactly.
So, but that's awesome. And like, honestly, Dave, can't stress enough to say thanks for helping people walk through that, a little bit of, like, you know, intuitive class around that.
Absolute pleasure.
So it's cool. So we're gonna just be mindful of time. The great thing is, I'm gonna now jump in. I'm gonna share this. So we're gonna jump in. We're gonna do a really quick meditation visualization, and this is a powerful one. This is one of the ones I've actually adapted it specifically for everyone here tonight, because that's what my guides have told me to do. So it's an adaptation of one of the members' favorites, which has been one of the ones that have blowing their minds a little bit, sometimes a bit too much, to be honest with you. But hopefully that's going to happen too much. So if you're willing, and you can hang around and you can stick around just for the next 12, 15 minutes, that's all it's going to take. And then we're going to have a good connection with this. And the other great thing is, just after we're done with this as well, we're going to have time to break this down and a bit of an interpretation from both David and myself with what you're kind of getting and going through. Because again, we're just tapping the energy. So great thing is, right, we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to take you on a different energetic journey, and we're going to do this, and and this is going to be for you. And I love this, because if you've been working along with David tonight doing this, you've already got the energy flowing. This is just going to amplify that. That's what I love about this. Any single one of you that's talking about trusting more, okay, Susan Spencer, just seen that comment come up. If you have been thinking about trust and whatever, this again is going to help you with that. What's really important as you kind of go through this now, I'm going to let you know, this is what I call a high vibe meditation. This is not a deep one. We're not going deep. This is going to be nice and quick. It's going to be really kind of upbeat, right? So, and you just got to just get comfortable. You don't have to fully relax. I don't want you zoning out. We're not going to be falling asleep here. It's going to be very short. It's going to be very powerful, very intense, but you need to trust. If you do, or you need to, just find a quieter space. Make sure you don't have distractions. If you've got headphones, just quickly go and grab them. They will help you as well. So we're just going to give you a minute to do that while we set this up as well. And then we'll kind of work through this. So there's going to be a nice, kind of short one. Just make sure you're checking your volume on your phone or your laptop or your headphones. Make sure it's comfortable. So if you're hearing me like this, you should be fine. We're just going to have some background music that will go for us on that one as well. So when you are feeling you are ready to do this with us, like I said, it's going to be short and then just it's very different. It's different from what most people expect. But if you are feel like you're ready to roll, just put us in the chat. Just say, yes, Pete, ready to go. Thank you. Amanda's on top of that. So just let us know saying when we're ready. And once I get a few readies or let's go comments there, we'll get into this. Wow. Sorry, that just took off. I was like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting it like that. It was like, I can't. Sorry, guys. I was like, so let's strap ourselves in. All right, awesome. Okay, so loving this. Okay, so we're all ready to go. Let's get calm. Let's do this. And everybody, just before we do start, I just want to ask you all to take 3 nice, deep breaths just to calm and clear your minds, please. So 3 big, deep breaths. That'll be nice. And just allow it to come, okay? And what's going to happen here is you have to trust. Just trust what is going to come through. Just trust what is going to be there for you. Don't overthink it. Let go of the ego. This has got nothing to do with your brain. This is about you opening up to the spirit realm and allowing what's going to come through. And if you do that, you just never know what magic is going to happen here. All right? So one more nice deep breath in through your nose and just releasing that energy. Just let all that stress and worry melt away just for this nice time. Going to take a nice couple of minutes for yourself. Here we go. Now be here with all of us and give yourself the time and space to connect and feel the beautiful energy in and around you. And now, in your own mind and own time, I want you to visualize a beautiful green meadow with beautiful rolling hills and nothing but green grass and beautiful clear blue skies. And as you are in this field, you can feel the warmth of the beautiful sun beaming down on your face and warming your body. And as it does, you relax and let go. And now, in front of you, 3 beautiful blue pavers appear in front of you on the ground. And in time, taking a step onto that first paver, and as you do, this beautiful blue paver starts to glow. And as it does, its energy starts to vibrate, filling you with a beautiful, calm energy going up from through your feet, up through your legs, into your torso, up your spine, into your lungs, heart, shoulders, arms, neck and head, feeling that beautiful glowing blue energy flow up through all the way through your body, shifting and changing all that it needs to within. And now it's time to step onto paver 2. Once again, as you do, it glows with the beautiful intensity and has a higher frequency as you feel the energy vibrate at your feet, going faster up through your legs and all through your body, all the way up into your head, shifting and changing all that it needs to. And now it's time to step onto paver 3. Take that step. And as you do, it glows once again with a higher and more intensity, clearing and shifting the energy within you, releasing the worry and the stress, allowing you to be more open to yourself, your soul, and the great spirit around you. And now that we have taken the 3 steps, there is going to be a beautiful magic portal of any shape or color that opens in front of you. See this portal. And as you can see through this portal, you can see that it takes you to a beautiful, pristine garden full of beautiful flowers. And when you're ready, step through that portal and go there. Now. Now in this beautiful place full of beautiful flowers and color, take a good look around and taking note and seeing that there is one particular flower that grabs your attention. See that flower. Look at that flower. Go over to that flower now. Seeing that flower, touch this flower. Smell the flower. And knowing that this flower is here, just for you, I want you to pick this flower now. With this flower, take this flower, and now, being given this beautiful gift in this beautiful garden, another magic portal opens, seeing it open, and as you look through this portal, you can see that it takes you to a very well-known place, a lounge room of yours. Now you can see it. It's calling with you, taking this beautiful flower with you. Step through that portal now. And now in this beautiful lounge room of yours, take note of who is in the room. Family and friends that have gathered here to meet and see you once again. Taking your time to meet, greet and talk to each one. And as you do, you're taking note of all the wonderful and beautiful feelings that they are imparting on you, giving you the memories and emotions that make you smile and laugh. And now we know it's time to leave this place. And as we do, another portal opens. And this time, before we leave this place, one of your loved ones in this room asks you to join you on your journey. And now together, and with your beautiful flower, you're going to step through this portal and go to a place that is meant just for you. And when you're ready, with your loved one and your flower, step through that portal now. Now take note of where you are, your surroundings, your feelings, noting all of your senses. For this is your personal space. And in this beautiful personal space, when you look around, you will meet and see another figure. Let your attention be drawn there now. And now you are connecting with one of your beautiful team who have been waiting to meet you all this time. And now, for the first time, you can put a face to the feeling, a name to the face, a voice to the name, and an energy to the entire being. And now that you have met each other, they too wish to accompany you on your journey. And now together, with your loved one, your flower, and your new team member, the third and final portal opens to bring you back to that beautiful green meadow from where you first started. And when you're ready, all together, step through that portal and back into the meadow. And now together in this place, you know that your energy and connection is inseparable. A beautiful bond that can never be broken. Together, you are one. And now when you're ready, coming back out of that beautiful green meadow and back into this beautiful space, knowing that they are with you, that beautiful energy. Taking your time that you need to come back to a sense of self. And once you are back here, back into your beautiful bodies, if you need to, take a moment, write down what you saw, what you felt. There might be quite a lot there to digest and work with. So you can work with that as well. Beautiful. And when you come back, just let us know in the chat when you're back. Like I said, take your time. You might want to write some stuff down, see what you got, what you went through. Vanessa, holy shit. Vanessa. Valerie, wow, yeah. Okay. Just out of curiosity, for those who have been through that, how long did that feel for you? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, that one's ages, yeah. Cool, nice to see everybody. Yeah. So just kind of get a feel for it. Amy, 30 minutes. Okay, cool. Vanessa, not long enough. I love that. Susan, 5 minutes. Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? Yeah, wish could have stayed longer, but it's important there. It felt like a while. Believe it or not, that was 12 minutes. So it's pretty short and powerful. Lump in the throat with so many past loved ones. Yeah, it was a bit of a mix up. My guides tempted me to go through there. It's kind of a nice one. Yeah, becomes what you happy, safe place. Beautiful. Yeah, it's cool. I love that. Oh, Susan, a few tears. So that's a good thing. Hopefully that's nice and give you a little bit of healing there as well. So it's cool. Very interesting. Love to hear what your flowers are. That was thrown in there right at the last minute. I was like, I thought it was very fitting. I was like, oh, okay. And then you get to pick and bring your flower back with you. So it's amazing what that will kind of come with as well. Out of curiosity, Dave, how did you go with that one?
Beautiful, mate. Fantastic. It's nice when you just feel into the space and the energy that surrounds you. And that's why I often say to people, is if we can meditate as much as we can or go into a nice peaceful state just like that, just for a few minutes a day. It doesn't have to be a long, full 1 hour session, but just to be able to center ourselves and connect and to allow those feelings to come in, because you know what? It's just a whisper away, guys. It's just a whisper away. The peace that we crave, the clarity that we crave, the direction that we crave, it's just a whisper away. It's waiting to work for us. But one of the most beautiful and one of the most powerful ways to connect with that is through meditation. So it's a nice thing to do. So thanks, mate. That was awesome.
And no, it's a beautiful thing. Just so, did you what flower did you end up with?
I had a geranium. And the reason it's funny because the geranium that I had, with all the geraniums, all the buds, because when I see a geranium with all the buds around it and underneath it, that is all about all the things that are to come, all the gifts, the hidden gifts, but all what's in bloom for the future. Because I looked at the current bloom, but with all the buds that you get with a geranium, it's just like, oh my God, all the it's just beautiful. Yeah, so nice.
No, I love that. And I love reading the comments here too. A few people with the tears and whatever else. And what's important about this, there's two things I want to mention here, everyone. We'll get a couple of on you. We'll hear what you kind of went through and worked out there as well. The two things is, as you would notice, the beautiful thing about that kind of particular meditation / visualization is, even though it may have felt longer than what it really was, did you notice that I kept you moving? Like there was no time to dawdle. There's no time to sit in it. And the reason for that is it doesn't, again, allow your ego to attach to it and overthink it. So that's where it's really quick. And it's like, okay, seeing a flower. Okay, what is it? Gonna have, okay, focus it, smell it, like do all these things, taking you through that. So that way it can help you and assist you to keep like connecting and channeling and receiving what is genuinely real for you in that time. I love it. Kaz is the grandparents in their farm, small little girl. Like I love that. And it's mean like I love that. Cool. Love. Thank you, Kaz. You're the first person, or the first comment I've seen, I should say, about the blue pavers. It's that's an instrument because that's a little thing that my team have given me to help everyone to get into that space a lot quicker, so to speak. Yeah, who was snorting? We might have had one person unmuted at that point, but it's okay. It worked out fine. But it's fine. So it's cool. And it's like, that's mean, like you always connect with what you got, and the whole thing is you get what you need to at the time. So I love that, Lynn. I'm glad that you can I love the comments. So glad you could get something out of this. So warm breeze swirling around, love that. So it's cool that you bring your loved ones, because this means they're still with you. And I think a lot of us going through grief forget that. And so that's just a beautiful space. And I love it. You meet them in the lounge room, the place that you know.
That's it.
Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be, Yeah, so I love the fact that you could bring your loved ones back because they're still with you. So just reminding you of that connection so you can come back to that place. So I love that as well. So, okay, yes, very quickly, was the third person a guide? Yes. That is that third person that you met in your space, that is actually a very specific, a non-living, or sorry, a non-family member but even though they're not a family member in earth terms, they're actually more your soul family on the other side. So someone you have a very, very deep connection with. So that's a big one there as well. So that's where that last person was. And it's very hard because you've got to do it very quick. You don't have a lot of time to process, but I don't give you any prompts. Just see who you see. And that will kind of, so that's cool. But I love that. So cool. Anyway, so what we'll do is just very quickly. That's right, Brad. You're very welcome, mate. So your guy was from another world. I hope so, because that's what it's because they're not from this one. That's the whole point, mate. No. Black and white daffodil, yellow center. Love it. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, Merlin, it's amazing who you're going to see, what you connect, but there's a genuine connection there for all of you, and you can have them, because you got to remember your guides that you do meet when they come back with you, they offer you a totally different perspective on your life. They also have a different way of talking to you, and they help you with totally different connections and energies and characteristics. That's why it's so important to kind of connect with them as well. And since so many of you were opening your skills and working with the skills tonight with David, it was also important to meet them, because I wouldn't be surprised for some of you, the guy that you met is the person that may help you to work with this side of yourself a little bit more.
100%.
So that's the first part. The second part about this is what I wanted to point out was that I just wanted to point out that 12 minutes. And in 12 minutes, so many of you connected. No different to when we held up the flowers and you're working with David. You connected, you were channeling. It was there. You didn't have to, of course, it takes a little bit of time and practice to refine that. But the most important thing is that you need to connect, and you can. And even with this meditation, you have to have a look at that, and you've got that big thing of, hey, you can connect with this, and that's a beautiful thing. And that's what it's all about. So, and that's because kind of leading up, at the end of the month and the beginning of next month, you're taking people through the Discover Mediumship. If you want to learn to connect and feel and work through those things on that external side, I can help you take you through that as well. So if you're interested in that, you can hit us up in the messages at the same time. But what we'll do is we'll just take a couple of people, because I know it is getting late. So if anybody wants to I'm just going to very quickly see if I can do this. I'm going to put everyone's hands down so we have a fresh start. Does anybody want to quickly share what they received in this particular meditation here as well? Sorry, guys, I just got to go and find your hands. I think it goes in alphabetical order. Yes, it does. Which is, so if you're right down the bottom, no, wait, I can't see it. Where are your hands? Where's your hands? There we are. Okay. So cool. Right. So Amy Price, just bring you on and we can have a quick listen to it. I know I'm going to be a bit mean, but I'm going to ask you all to kind of speed talk. You're going to have to take a leaf out of David's book here and go around the racetrack a few times with what you received.
Done
so
deal.
Amy, you there?
Done deal.
Cool. Let's hear it.
I felt like very deep, extreme sadness to begin with. And then I just had this voice saying, trust, 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 and then jump. Just jump. And it was just like, okay. And then when you said to open the door to see a flower, I didn't even envision a flower. It was already there. And it had like a rose with a few buds, but lots of thorns underneath. And the person who I saw at the end, actually, I've seen her before in a dream, and she's a very elderly lady. Beautiful. And she's cloaked, but she's old, like years old. So I've seen her before, but yeah, but it's more like old as in, like, best way I can describe her is like Viking old, like all that kind of stuff, like hanging off her.
Okay. Yeah. Ancestry. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's
cool. And
pretty much. Yeah.
How did you feel about bringing them back with you?
I think I'm going to have to do it a couple more times. I think that trust thing and the jump thing is just, yeah.
No, I totally get that. Totally get that. Just very quickly, Dave, what's your take on that one, mate?
Well, mate, it's such a different and unique experience for everyone, and who we connect with, why, and it can mean so many different things. And I think sometimes I think from a human perspective, we try to analyze. But who are they? Why are they here? But what are their names? And we look at the that side of it. But I think, and I love what you said, Amy, about trust. That's the realm that Pete and I work in, and that's what I say to people. Faith and trust are the two key ingredients. Love and humor is all a part of that. But the faith and the trust, when it comes to getting your messages, have the faith and the trust. And when people appear, as they did with you with that beautiful lady, that old lady described, honey, yep, trust. So instead of thinking, well, who is she? Why is she here? Just say, thank you for coming into my life. And through the course of time, this is an opportunity for you to establish a new relationship potentially with a new guide who has appeared in your realm. And this is where they appear to us. This is where they come to us, in the realms of our meditations and our dreams. That's where the spirit world connects with us, and we connect with them. So well done, honey. That's great. Fantastic.
I find that I get a lot of, I don't know what this is the same for everybody else, but I get lots of like a headache across the front of my forehead whenever I meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Is that me holding back, or is that just something that, I don't know. It's just, when I meditate.
What, all the time?
Yeah, it's like I just get, it's just at the front of my head from like across just the front of my forehead. And it's just,
I'm really not quite sure.
Just so we get an idea, because obviously we can't see you.
Yes.
Are you talking like across all the forehead,
yes,
or are you talking
exactly,
like just more in the center?
Exactly where you just put your finger just across the top part of the forehead.
There.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this can be associated with the opening of your third eye,
bingo.
Because that's our third eye. So if you are getting an aching there, it can be a real sense of that, coming to the fore, an awakening of that ability and skill that we've all got. And and the fact that you're only getting it during your meditation that's when you are opening up and you are letting go and releasing, and that instead of looking at it from a perspective of, oh, well, I've got this wretched headache or this ache, this dull ache across the top. Even though I can't say it is definitely this or that, the first assumption I would make, well, that's an awakening symptom, a physical symptom of your opening of your third eye, continuing to, not just opening it up, but just continuing on with that. So so take it as a good sign.
Thank you. You guys are amazing. I love you.
Oh, you're only human, darling. Sweetheart, thank you so much for that lovely compliment, honey.
I really want to
Thank you for that lovely compliment, Amy. Yeah. Pete and I love working together, because one thing with us, I don't want to waste too much time, but one thing I love about Pete, and we're just real guys. We're just real people, and we take the mickey out of ourselves, but we really get into some meaty stuff and good stuff. But we have fun along the way, and that's the best way to learn in this world. And takes all the deep, dark, some mysterious, spooky stuff out of it, and people go, "Wow, this is a whole fabulous world," and it's a world where we're all loved and welcome. So thanks, honey. Lovely to chat to you.
Lovely to chat to you guys. Thanks.
Hi, darling.
That's right. Yeah. So, Amy, just to give you that clarification, like Dave is like bang on with that, especially when, and this is important for anyone, because I just know a couple like shells, you're saying your ears do the same. So like David was pointing out, when, especially meditation, right, there's a clue. You may have a physical activation going on. And now the reason why, a bigger reason why, especially for Amy in your situation, everybody else can relate to this. Your first thing was, you had a sadness, and then you got told trust, and you got told to jump. Now, the reason is because those pavers were specifically put in place to activate you and to shift your shit before you get to that space, so you can trust and jump and go with it. And look what happened. Not only did you see and meet someone that you saw in a dream, giving you great validation for yourself to know that, okay, that dream wasn't just a weird, wacky dream. Like there's something to it now. But the other beautiful thing is it was showing you that when you do trust, you're getting an actual beautiful activation and there's more there to happen for you. So that's a beautiful other thing there that can happen for, anyone who's experiencing that physical stuff. So hopefully that does help you, but trust. Trust is a lesson we never stop learning in this world. Never. Like I'm talking the spiritual world, because when we're channeling, we're working every time, like David or I open our mouth, even talking to you now, Amy, we have to trust what we're getting because we're getting it for you or we're getting it for anybody else. So yeah. So hopefully that helps you.
Good.
Cool. All right. Okay. And we'll just probably have time for one more. So we've got Michelle Santa. So Michelle, you got your hand up. We'll quickly run through this. And then we'll have to bail on you guys because I know it's getting late, but I appreciate everyone's time tonight.
Hi, Michelle.
Again.
Michelle, how are you?
Hi.
You again.
I'm very good. Yeah, me again. I had a bit of a strange one because I connected with, well, I'm assuming they're still alive. I first when I went to, I knew I was going to flowers because before I went to the portal, the flowers were overflowering. So they're overflowing. So I went through, found a purple rose. And when I picked the purple rose, it opened. And then I found a friend, a good male friend I have, and together we went into my favourite place, which is right out in the middle of the wilderness. And in the wilderness, I found John Farnham. I don't know why. And he was singing You're the Voice. And then him and my friend started singing You're the Voice, try and understand it. That's my message. And then he came through, they all came through into the paddock, but it's meant to be because John Farnham was my childhood crush. And I always respected him and loved him, and I don't know, it got me through my childhood somehow, but I have been very quiet in my voice for quite some time. I've not spoken my truth or who I'm meant to be. So for me, I take it, I don't know why, I'm assuming he's still alive, but that's where I went.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Is it okay to have someone who's not dead? Because I thought it was supposed to be a guide, but he's alive.
No, but
not really.
Okay.
Go, Pete.
Yeah. No, it's like, honestly, that's not weird at all because
isn't it?
Sometimes what we've got to understand is that, no, it's not, because you got to remember when they do that, because what's important here, you got to remember whenever we're connecting with spirit and whenever like Dave and I do this work, and because I know the way Dave works and he's very similar to me in the respect of when we work, we are of service to spirit. And we are bringing messages literally from that world to this one, and we're doing it for the greatest person, for the person in front of us, their greatest and highest good. That's why we do it. That's how we do it. 100%. So what happens in this, when we do it like this, and for anyone here channeling this, right, you got to understand, not everyone is actually physically ready to see a totally random being. Now, so therefore, when you went to that your safe place, which is just for you, it's yours. It was just yours, Michelle. That's your space. The whole thing is that's your space. And you think about it, you look at like a bit more, because I'm a bit more officious behind me. Like, if you look at Dave, he's got his bookshelf there. He's got the clock behind him. So it's his space. You can see the personal things that are connected there. So this is no different when you go to there, even though seeing a being, John Farnham. But the whole point is, you seeing John Farnham and the connection you have with him was what made it just popped to you. That's the message. They're giving you the message because the message in this instance for you is far more important to you than meeting somebody.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
That's like, it's no different for me. Even when I'm channeling someone, I can bring someone through, like as much as you might want your mum or your dad. But look, what happens if your Uncle Kev comes through, but he gives you the most important message? Does it really matter who it got delivered from?
Doesn't.
No, it's the message that counts the most.
That's right.
And so that's what it's about. It's all of this is they're going, forget the visual stuff right now for you. You need to understand you are the voice and you need to understand it. Don't you love the exact lyrics?
Yes.
You're the voice. You need to understand it. Like, you need to understand it. So they gave you not just the song, but the friggin' artist who sings it to make sure you got the message so you understood it.
You understand it.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
You're welcome, love.
I'm really grateful. Thanks again.
No.
Thanks, Shell.
Okay.
Nah, you're right. You're welcome. That's cool, guys. Well, Dave, have you got any last parting words for our lovely people?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, many. Another 2 hours, please.
People will be
Easily.
up for it as long as it's during the day.
I know, right? No, guys, look, I just want to thank everyone who came along tonight. I hope you enjoyed the exercise that Pete and I presented tonight in our little presentation. I hope you enjoyed witnessing how the psychic work works in the sense of using psychometry as one of the many, many vehicles that we can use in the work. I often refer to my work as the work. I don't talk about, what all the different, I just say the work, which is a blanket for the beautiful work, because I love simplicity and nature is simple. So as much as possible, I try to live my life simply. I try to, well, not try, but I just, I don't even try, but it's the fact that it just becomes a normal, natural part of your life when you're in flow and you work with nature the way I do, the way Pete does. And, these are the things that really help build you to become a little bit of a sense of what we call a spiritually bulletproof person. When you become so immersed in love and faith and trust with what is around you in the world within, because there are two worlds that exist. There's the physical world and there's the world within us, the spirit world, our connection. And it's a beautiful thing to do. So, practice. Who knows, we might do one of these again one time. And if it's the first time I've ever done this and I've had so much fun tonight, I'm only just getting revved up. I want to go for more and really go, and the fun that
I know, right?
I know, that's exactly right. So, who knows, watch this space.
We're in the middle of our shift, David. We usually don't finish till 1 a.m. This is just the beginning of our shift, isn't it?
That's right. I don't think we'll get any sleep in Fiji at all for 5 days. It'll be just a 5-day straight run. But in passing, guys, thank you all for coming along. Thanks for joining Pete and I. Thanks for picking up the invite. I hope you know what, it's a bit of a cliched saying, but if you take one little thing away and start implementing that in your life and it makes a little bit of a difference, well, it makes all of our life worthwhile. And to echo what Pete just said a minute ago, we are in service. I'm in service to spirit, but Pete and I are in service to you. And when we bring a sense of betterment into your life through our beautiful work, well, there's God's work right there. And that's all there is to it.
Awesome. No, and again, thank you so much for everyone for coming along. It's been great to have you here. And honestly, how much fun it is just lovely when it's fun and you learn when you're having a bit of fun, and hopefully you've taken away a little bit of something tonight. And I think, it's like anything when Dave and I do work, and we always say, if you're leaving tonight a little bit better than when you first joined, then our job is done. We're happy men.
That's it.
And we look forward to it. But that's me, guys. So yeah, hopefully David does get his glasses fixed. And I'm pretty sure that'll be on his agenda. He'll be visiting
new glasses tomorrow. And you'll be able to take me seriously. And I won't have a skew-eyed view of the world.
I love it. And of course, if you are interested, honestly, it'll be a hoot if you want to come to Fiji. Like I said, if you want to come and hang out with us for 5 days on a tropical island, come at your own risk.
Yeah, you have to sign a disclaimer before you board the plane.
Yeah. So it'd be a lot of fun, but and of course, keep an eye out, and we're there, but we'll look forward to it. And it won't be the last time that Dave and I'll be speaking together, but thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for your time. I know it's a bit later than normal, we expected, but it's been absolutely awesome, and it wouldn't have been possible without you. So thank you so much, everyone.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys. Good night. My love and blessings to you all.
And thanks, Lynette.
My spirit guide, my irreverent spirit guide.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
See you, everyone.
See ya. Bye-bye.